But the state says Bethea knew exactly what he was doing.
Terrence Durrell was shot twice with this Taurus 9mm handgun.
Shot and killed, prosecutors say, by this man, Antoine Bethea.
He flashed the gun so others would know he had it, even after Terrence had told him that he didn't want to fight, that he just wanted his son.
In her closing argument, State Attorney Leanne Zania recapped the events leading up to Durrell's death, saying it was no accident, but instead a simple encounter turned deadly. However, Bethea's attorney paints a different picture.
It was not reckless or unreasonable for Antoine to arm himself.
His defense says Bethea had been threatened before Durrell showed up to his apartment, so he grabbed his gun, saying the gun only went off because Durrell's brother had tried to wrestle it out of his hands.
Antoine's down on the ground, down low, Primo on top of him, trying to control this gun, and he moves it away from his stomach, and the gun goes off twice.
After the gun went off, police say Bethea ran and tried to change his appearance. Prosecutors say it's because he didn't want to get caught, but Bethea's attorney says that's not true.
He was scared, panicked, didn't feel like he was going to get a fair shake.
Now it's up to the jury to determine what really happened the night Durrell was killed.
We know that no other person had a gun or a weapon.
He was acting in self-defense when the gun went off.
All right, and actually, as that story was playing, the jury did just come back with a verdict. Bethea has been convicted of manslaughter. He was not found guilty of murder. We'll definitely have more information for you guys coming up tonight at 6 o'clock.
All right, Sam, thank you very much. Breaking news just like that. All right, also, this breaking. It's hot.
Right.
Hot.
And
hot.
Some developments in the Weather Center today, late breaking just a few moments ago. You've been pretty busy,
Moosehead Lake region getting a little dicey.
Don't bury the lead. There's a tornado warning out there, Lee. But yeah, no, I mean, for most of the state, it's been hot. it's been hot. Let's get to that tornado warning. They just extended it, actually, and obviously a really long path here. So if you look at this thing on radar, it doesn't look that bad. It doesn't have the look of a tornado or a cell that is producing a tornado. A lot of lightning certainly in there, but if you look at the velocity, the wind, there is definitely a couplet here, right there. See that? That's towards and away. That's spinning, and it's probably a pretty strong spin. So we haven't heard any reports. This is not a heavily populated area, so we haven't gotten any reports whether or not there's a tornado on the ground, but you should treat it as such as it moves off to the east around 30 to 35 miles an hour and going through some of the campgrounds out here. That's the real danger, is there's really no protection from this possible tornado. Elsewhere, we do have another severe thunderstorm. This looks all much like a straight line wind threat with that reverse C shape here. That's a bow echo. So as it moves towards 201 here, this is going to be wind gusts 50, 60 miles an hour in this, and a couple of more storms to the north up towards Jackman that are hailers. So there's a lot of activity out there, broadly speaking. In the meantime, yes, the story has been that it was hot today. Temperatures still in the 80s and 90s, and where it's rained, you can see how much that cooled us down. For example, Sanford was in the 90s, went down to 81 when it rained, and back up to 83 on the back end of that. Dew Point's currently still extremely juicy too, right around 70 to 73. It'll be another uncomfortable night tonight with sleeping weather-wise if you don't have air conditioning, and that's been a theme through much of the summer. So showers and thunderstorms continue tonight. They die out by about midnight. After that, it's a warm night again, and another mild day tomorrow before our air mass change on Thursday night and into Friday. Guys, we got a little bit of a break over the weekend, but the heat looks like it's back next week. Talk details in a few minutes.
All right, Keith, thanks. A mudslide at a tunnel construction site in China has left 4 people dead and 4 missing. A railroad engineering firm was working on the tunnel early today when the mudslide hit.
It carried away a work shed and led to the evacuation of more than 100 people from the area. 2 people were injured in addition to the dead and missing.
The mudslide cut off traffic to the site, and rescuers have had to open up new roads.
Surprising results overnight in 2 key states holding primary elections leading up to the midterms. Andrew Gillum, the first African-American to be a majority party nominee for governor in the state of Florida. he won the Democratic ticket.
In Arizona, Congresswoman Martha McSally easily won the GOP nomination for Senate. McSally's victory sets up a battle this fall against Democrat Kyrsten Sinema. The winner of the Arizona race will become the first female senator ever from that state. To celebrate the recent release of Disney's Christopher Robin, the analysts at CableTV.com created a national report revealing each state's favorite Disney classically animated movie.
Yeah, I have a major problem with this. According to the findings, Maine's favorite Disney film of all time is Robin Hood. Come on, we wanted to see if you guys agree with that. I mean, it's a fine movie, but I'm just saying.
Right, okay, so go to vote right now at pulse.newscentermaine.com. We have this Pulse poll going. So our options here. So obviously you can weigh in right now on our Facebook and YouTube live streams if you don't have the ones that are here, but we have Robin Hood, 18%, Lion King, and then other with a little smiley face.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, I'm sure Robin Hood was a great movie, but I mean, I don't know how that they gave that to Maine. So don't forget, go on and vote right now so we can make your voices heard. And again, Robin Hood.
Surprising.
Great. But I don't know how that's the greatest movie of all time for Disney, according to Mainers. Y'all are going to change that, I have a feeling. All right. The Maine CDC reports that a collection of mosquitoes from Kittery just tested positive for the West Nile virus. Vector-borne disease experts at Maine Medical Center collected that sample last week.
They say that this year West Nile virus activity in the eastern part of the U.S. is higher than years past, and that the species that have tested positive for the disease lives all over the state. While West Nile virus activity usually ramps up in August or September in Maine, warm temperatures later into the year can extend mosquito season.
So certainly if it's being found in the southwestern part of the state, folks to the east and north of that should be on the lookout for mosquitoes and take precautions over the next month to 6 weeks or so.
West Nile and Triple E are both transmitted by a bite from an infected mosquito, not from a person to person or from animals. In addition to using bug spray with DEET and wearing long sleeves, experts suggest clearing any standing water that you might have near your home, or just stay inside and never go out.
Eastern equine encephalitis, that Triple E.
There it is.
It's a tongue twister. All right, Midcoast Hospital in Brunswick is the first in Maine to offer Suboxone in the emergency department, and doctors are reporting solid progress with the treatment. Suboxone is one of the most common forms of medication-assisted treatment for addiction to opioids.
The approach is aimed at expediting the process for patients who may be ready to get into long-term treatment. After the ER, patients are set up with an appointment at the hospital's Addiction Resource Center by the next business day.
Recovery experts say there can sometimes be a small window for a person struggling with the drug use to be ready for that treatment.
You know, we had someone walk through our doors just yesterday who had overdosed 3 times in the past week. And so that person can't really afford to wait a week or 4 days to see me.
But we're really just getting things started when we can, as opposed to giving someone a phone number and a handshake.
All right, you guys are going to want to see this. There's a video making its way around social media today. Lots of people are talking about it. Also, it's inspired a lot of questions. Check this out.
Take a note and we'll be back with it, please.
Okay, and who are you? You're a federal agent? You said you're a federal agent.
No.
You said you're a federal agent.
Illegal grow going on.
Michael, this is your...
So this video sent to us by Michael Cacciaro of Calais shows his landlord trying to hand him an eviction letter. This has been viewed on YouTube almost 1,000 times.
And on Facebook, people are asking, can someone claim they are a federal agent, as he claims the gentleman, or she claims the gentleman in that video did? And can a landlord just show up and hand you an eviction letter? So let's get some answers.
All right, first and foremost, in this case, the landlord gave a handwritten letter to her tenant to tell him she wants him to move out as of September 15th. Now, the handwritten note is acceptable, but according to Maine state real estate laws, a landlord must provide the renter with 30 days notice or more before the eviction date, and notice of eviction does not need to come with any reason. Also, landlords may not personally remove a tenant even if notice has been served and the tenant refuses to leave. In cases like that, a landlord must obtain a court order to evict, and tenants then have an opportunity to contest their evictions.
All right, last week we told you about the several thousand pounds of lobster that spilled out of a truck and onto Route 1 today. There is an update to that story.
Yeah, this one raised some eyebrows. To honor, if you will, the lobsters who died in Brunswick last Wednesday, PETA sent a letter out today asking the Maine Department of Transportation for permission to place a 5-foot tombstone memorial near the crash site, urging passersby to try vegan.
So, of course, here's what this tombstone looks like. PETA hopes this memorial will prevent future lobster suffering.
Okay, coming up, we will find out which Red Sox star is the latest baseball player to have a very old but controversial social media post resurface.
And we meet someone who can breathe a little easier in the heat thanks to a new medical trial. How's everybody doing?
Okay.
So
Joe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Okay, I love Robin Hood, but I'm just saying, of every single Disney movie, how could that be the greatest one of all time?
Everyone's got their own Disney
But
preference.
I find it hard to believe that Mainers actually chose that. I think that this is a flawed
You think it is?
system.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it was a fine movie.
Yeah.
I mean, if you made a list of your 10 favorite Disney movies, that would not be on there.
No, it wouldn't be.
I
What's
think it
your
was
favorite?
Well, I've obviously seen them all, and continue to do so.
Well, classically animated, so that means like the ones that are in the Disney vault.
Right. So I actually, for a totally different reason than most people would think, I liked Frozen.
Really?
But I liked it because
there was no love interest?
There was no man saving a woman. It
Yeah.
was just two sisters.
That's like Moana. That's why I love Moana.
So another one of my favorites, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really cool and different and certainly necessary twist on all the Disney movies where it's a damsel in distress, a man comes in, saves the woman, everything's good. So I liked that they decided to shake it up that way. So I do like that. But obviously being my age, all the old ones. So.
Yeah. I was part of the generation that you associated, or for the most part, my friends and I associated with the Disney princess that looked most like us. So I have brown hair, so Belle was it. You know, I wanted to be Beauty and the Beast.
Does that make Clay the Beast?
He, I guess so.
Oh, can I be Gaston?
What's funny is now with our dogs, we have a Lady and the Tramp situation going on because Tito's like this little scruff ball and Lucy's all prim and proper like Lady was.
Karen's is Lady and the Tramp.
It's a good one.
Yep.
It's a great one.
Yeah, we actually bought that one for Maya before she was born on VHS and on DVD, so she'd be able to see it. I don't even know if she's watched it yet.
101 Dalmatians was the first movie
very,
I ever
very
saw
good.
in a theater.
Loved that one. Paul says The Rescuers. I also loved that one. Mary Poppins. I definitely loved that one with Julie Andrews, the original. Loved that one.
Deborah, you're right. In Switzerland, it did just this year become illegal to boil lobsters there. You're right.
I'd like to say hi to Dana from Bangor. Hi, Dana from Bangor. Good to see you.
Oh, hey, Dana.
You're up first.
Okay. So yesterday was our back to school theme show, and today more first day of school pics have rolled in.
It's coming. Check out this one from
cute.
Ryan
Look at the mom
Whitehouse.
and dad.
The kids, well, they're not having any fun at all, but the parents, oh, I can relate to that. Time of their lives. That is a great photo.
Are they professional dancers?
Right? I don't know, but they're professional parents because they know. I have always said, oh, by the way, if I ever decide to run for governor in the state of Maine and I run on the platform of year-round school for kids, I will win because I will get every parent to vote for me. I mean, I love my kids home, but I love when they're in school. I
think any parent can relate
Just
to that.
saying, you know.
I'll let you know the day I can relate.
Sometimes less is more. Is all I'm saying.
Exactly.
Okay. Just kidding. Love my kids. All 20 of them. So that is obviously a very good example of how you should use social media. Now this story is about making sure that you check what you're posting. Red Sox star J.D. Martinez, the latest player from Major League Baseball to have an old social media post resurface, and it's created some controversy.
The post being referenced is from January of 2013. The post features a picture of Hitler and a quote from him. Martinez wrote as a caption, "This is why I will always stay strapped. #the truth." Martinez did not delete the post and said he still sticks by his endorsement of the Second Amendment, even though people are upset.
And JD is not the first player this has happened to even this season, and what seems to be a trend now. Several other Major League All-Stars like Josh Hader, Trey Turner have had some old social media posts resurface, and they've had to do a little bit of explaining.
All right, if you're looking for a healthy dose of nostalgia from the 90s, the streaming site VRV has you covered.
Oh, the old days. A partnership with Nickelodeon means that all those shows from the 90s that you know and you love, they will be available for you to stream, including Doug and Cat,
yes,
The Wild Thornberries.
Wait, Cat Dog?
I don't know. I was actually not
Doug is one,
a child
Cat
at
Dog
this
is
point.
another.
Okay, other shows will be added later on. The Nick Splat channel is available for $6 a month as a standalone channel on VRV.
You like to test me with your 80s music knowledge,
Yes.
so now I can help you
I
with
was working in
90s
television in the
Nickelodeon.
90s. I wasn't at home watching TV. I'm just
I loved
that
TV, even
old.
from an early age.
Okie dokie. So, I love this. A married couple's performance on America's Got Talent last night has taken over the internet, and you're about to see why.
Is hoping for each night. My baby girl is just like you. We hope she has a mama's smile. I hope she's beautiful like you.
How cute is that? The From Us is the duo, and it was their original song, Like I Did With You. Michael and Carissa Alvarado wrote the song for their baby girl, who is clearly on her way.
Right now, the video has over 130,000 views on America's Got Talent's YouTube page. They will find out on tonight's show whether or not they got enough votes to go through the next round.
That was sweet.
Very sweet. All right, coming up next, we meet Greg Lambert, who has cystic fibrosis and is defying the odds.
And we talked about the tornado warning, we talked about how hot it is, and we're going to meet Keith's biggest fan. Oh, I get it.
I knew that was coming.
I get it. And
Some would say, friends, that's Keith's only fan. But we know he's got plenty, especially those who like this medium suit.
Chris, go
Thank you.
to pulse.
I'm going to take a walk. I'll be back.
Or if you have your phone, there is a Pulse tab on our mobile app, and you can just click right there, and that's how you vote on our poll. Wasn't that that was a
Let's
funny
do it.
picture. I've seen lots
What do
of
you need?
parents
Yeah,
celebrating
you got it.
type pictures on first day of school. Yeah, so that was pretty funny. And the kids obviously played along, so that was pretty cool.
Does this color look okay? Okay, that's what I thought.
In Jackman, pouring in Jackman. Yeah, tornado warnings are scary as kids, so make sure you're not taking any chances with that. Peter DeSimon, my good friend, good to see you, sir. Hope everybody's enjoying the end of summer. It's the end of the world as we know it. Lindsay left. She can't take it anymore. I drove her crazy. She's gone. She gone. What else you got for me, kids? John McCarthy in Wyoming. Good to see you, John. John, you probably know this. Maybe you don't. There is a really popular, probably the most popular UFC referee. I don't know if you follow the UFC or MMA, but and his name is John McCarthy. He's actually Big John McCarthy, and he's got a podcast and he's got hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. So that name might be able to get you some reservations at restaurants if you just say you're Big John McCarthy. Information you need to know, John. All the way out in Wyoming. Donna, that's great news. Thank you. I'm glad to hear he's doing well. Lindsay's story about how hard it is to breathe for a lot of people in this weather is coming up in a few seconds, so you're going to see that next. But I'm glad you shared that. All right, kids. Lindsay's coming up. I'll see you in a minute.
Of course, it's uncomfortable for so many of us, but for some, it's a health risk. It's more than just being uncomfortable, even for those who try to stay as physically fit as possible. Like Greg Lambert of Auburn, he's now breathing well in this heat for the first time in more than a decade, and here's why.
I've known since birth.
Greg Lambert has cystic fibrosis.
My life expectancy was like 10 years old.
He's now 36, married to his high school sweetheart, and has 2 children, twins.
I love hiking, I love swimming, I love camping.
For the most part, he was able to maintain an active life, even living with the genetic disease.
My lung function dropped way down, and that's when they said, okay, we think you need to be listed on the transplant list.
That was until his mid-20s when he suffered an allergic reaction.
For years, they said I was too healthy to actually be actively listed.
Eventually, the exercise wasn't enough. He needed a double lung transplant. So in January, he went to Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston.
That third time, that was the worst.
3 separate times, though, illness or other medical concerns got in the way.
It crushed me. You know, I was like emotionally just done.
This month, the 4th trip down, he received the long-awaited double transplant. He doesn't know who the lungs came from, but he knows they were the lungs of a drug user diagnosed with Hep C, part of a trial underway at the hospital. Walking the halls of the hospital, his motivation to get moving again inspired everyone around him, so much so they gave him a cape. After just 10 days in the hospital, he returned to his Auburn home Monday.
Just before bed, I take the rest.
And although he now begins a strict regimen of taking more than 60 pills a day, he's thankful that even in this heat, he can breathe again.
World of difference. I feel so much better. I was actually able to walk a mile this morning outside.
Thankful to those who choose to donate organs, who can save lives after death.
Before the transplant, there was a chance that I wouldn't have been able to see my daughter get married. Being a donor is more than just giving a life. It's you know, making a family whole again.
So his goal 1 year from now is to hike Tumbledown Mountain in Franklin County. There is an expensive cost also associated with his road to recovery, between traveling twice a week to doctors in Boston and all the costs of those medications. So there is a GoFundMe page where you can help. I'm going to post that very shortly here at our website and mobile app.
Oh, such a great story, and hopefully things just keep on looking up there. So,
a beautiful family.
Before we went to break, you saw the part where Keith showed us his biggest fan?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Keith has decided this is our biggest fan.
That's
it's
your
a
biggest?
tiny little fan.
It's so cute. It's like a Pixar fan.
You can't even make noise.
It does nothing at all. It just makes you feel.
It's not even moving my hair.
It might make Lindsay's hair look good.
Not even blowing.
Yeah. I like that. Let me
Do you
take
think
some
that'll
selfies.
work? Okay.
Some selfies.
Don't forget the filters.
Let me put it here.
I'll do like the weather in between you
Okay.
guys. We'll come back to that.
Thank you.
Come
back
we'll
in
be
a
over
sec.
here if you need us.
Yeah.
Quite a few thunderstorms out here. Severe thunderstorm watch in the shaded yellow area here, and the tornado warning still ongoing up towards Katahdin here. And this is, you know, when you look at this on the reflectivity, it doesn't look like much, but the velocity data is strong, meaning there's a pretty good couplet right here. I'd like to see, well, I don't want to see it, but for a tornado, I'd like to see it a little bit tighter and a little bit more wrapped on itself. But there's a chance that this is a tornado, at least a low-end one, that's on the ground here, moving east at 30 to 35 miles an hour. So you're mostly worried about campers at this point, not a heavily populated area otherwise. But this has been a tornado warning system now for about 45 minutes. Meanwhile, severe thunderstorm warnings here coming out of Vermont into New Hampshire, and this is on the way to western Maine. This is a nice line, probably has some pretty good straight line winds with it of 50 to 60 miles an hour. And then to the north of that, there's severe thunderstorm warning here to the south of Jackman, and this is a hailer, and again, wind gusts of 50 to 60 miles an hour. So pretty active out there over the next few hours. And part of this is the heat and humidity that drove these thunderstorms. Current temperatures are all over the place because we do have some rain cooling here. Temperatures in the 80s, but some of us still in the upper 80s and low 90s, and the dew points are high. In fact, look at Lewiston, dew point of 77 right now, 77 for a dew point in Sanford as well. That is well to the north of that oppressive range. All right, so showers and thunderstorms possible through the rest of tonight. They clear out by midnight. After that, tomorrow is partly cloudy. A couple of showers in the afternoon, but most of us stay dry, and it's another warm day. But by tomorrow night, the humidity finally scours itself out. You'll see it by Friday morning, dew points in the 50s. That'll feel a lot better. But hard to keep this pattern down. We get that humidity back in here on Sunday and certainly into Monday of next week. So the weekend still looks okay to me. As I've said, guys, I'm not overly, it's a good weekend. It's not a perfect weekend. I think mostly cloudy on Sunday. I got an isolated shower on Sunday afternoon and maybe Monday with an isolated shower away from the coastline. The coastline should probably be drier, should stay dry through the whole weekend, and warm again, hot again next week.
All right, so next week I'll turn this puppy back on.
Turn that fan back on.
I turned it off for a little bit.
If you need a bigger fan, you can always see it on.
What's that, battery operated?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Solar
All
powered.
Right. Thanks.
It's
Thanks,
your turn.
Keith.
Go ahead.
All right, so let's check in now with Cindy Williams, who has a lot more of what's coming up on News Center Maine at 5:30. Hey, Cindy.
Where's my fan?
I know,
You can
right?
have this one.
Yeah, it's helping my hair.
I think we stole it from your husband's desk, so it's
I know
probably
you
yours
did.
anyway.
I recognized it immediately. I've got my own fan on my desk. Anyway, we got a lot coming up on News Center at 5:30. We have been talking a lot about the heat. You need fans and air conditioners these days, but we're talking about some other aspect of that coming up. We're going to talk about ground ozone level concentrations and what they are, and a spot in the state that is really close to reaching some dangerous levels on that. Plus, the governor is being asked to apologize for something. We're going to tell you for what, coming up at 5:30. Back to you.
All right, Cindy, thanks so much. Raindrops when we come back. Can we all agree that this is like the cutest little fan on the planet? And this is like heavy duty too. It's Brookstone. That's expensive stuff.
It's true.
Why am I not surprised? Keith was able to find something like
no,
this.
they're going out of business. We could go get
At
one
the
now.
mall, yeah, I know. Actually, yeah, now would be a good time to
Go
get
one. You might want to respond to Paul. Beth, I know delivering mail, I feel so bad for those people. This week has just been awful having to do that stuff. Any of the, the UPS and the FedEx and all the delivery people, my goodness.
So Paul, I know. So Paul says, I could not imagine taking 30+ pills to prevent rejection. It goes to show you that your body can end up being your worst enemy. So in this specific case, I couldn't get too into it for time's sake, but some of those medications aren't even just for rejection. It's for, as part of that trial he's undergoing, it's to treat the Hep C associated with those lungs, the lung donations.
That's okay. It's not really anything going on. So. No, it's fine.
So yeah, it just got dark in here. Wait, where does this belong? I gotta put it back where it belongs.
I think it's Lee's desk.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put it back. Which one is Lee's desk?
Right
Over
there.
here? Oh, right here. Lee Nelson. Oh, look, there's a spot right here. There you go. Okay.
Lindsay, I'll take the pulse poll.
Okay.
We're starting with pulse.
Yes.
Do you know the results?
Hey, Isaac.
No. Can you ask him?
I think the Lion King was winning.
What are the results of pulse? Because they can't.
I'd be shocked if the Lion King didn't win.
Isaac.
65% other, 31% Lion King, 4%
Wow.
Hey, Isaac.
65% other?
Others just too big
Others
a
winning.
category.
Yeah.
Too big, yeah. My vote is Aladdin.
Aladdin's
Aladdin
a
is
great
fantastic.
one.
Yes. Fantastic.
That one and Lion King are like tied for my favorite.
Lion King is very good. I like Aladdin better because it has Robin Williams.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite, hands down.
Which one?
Beauty and the Beast. See, that's the thing.
Beauty and the Beast is good,
There's just too many good ones.
but Aladdin had Robin Williams. That was funny.
Yeah.
Shrek.
Shrek was good
Disney,
too.
though? I actually don't. Now that I said that, I don't think
Pixar.
Shrek was. Shrek's not Disney. Yeah.
It's DreamWorks.
But also a very good movie. All right, quick look at the Pulse poll results. Is it Robin Hood? Is it Lion King? Is it other? It's other. So many others to choose from. So thank you guys for voting, and we'll get you some more Pulse polls coming
We
up.
should narrow that down tomorrow.
I know.
And just say, all right, within other. This could go on for weeks. All right, so let me take you back 13 years. I was an intern at Weather Services
Katrina.
International.
I was only 5.
Yeah, I thought so. It was my first summer working for this forecasting group, and we did national, that's not related, Entergy, National Grid, all these energy clients, and Katrina. This was 13 years ago, and that summer was crazy, but this was the craziest storm. And I've still never seen a storm in the Atlantic with this kind of symmetry and power. And you know what's interesting is anybody who went to meteorology school prior to Katrina will tell you that Katrina was talked about before it happened. The worst case scenario of a Cat 5 into New Orleans was used in textbooks prior to it. Unfortunately,
historic
it
storm.
actually happened 13 years ago.
All right, News Center 5:30 is happening right now.
Can you believe 13 years since Hurricane Katrina?
I can't believe it's been 13 years.
I did my whole senior thesis in college about it.
I remember when they were using the Superdome as like a shelter.
Right.
People were pouring into that place. It was like the safest place.
Those images, man.
Yeah.
You can't forget them. All right, somber note. Bye, guys.